Hey, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you today with Love Talk. Me and my co-host, Tamara. My name is Thomas Lee, and we're going to come and give you a delightful conversation about family, relationships, and more.
Hi, everyone.
Well, you can start out by introducing the topics today that we're going to go over.
All right. Well, today we just wanted to touch bases on the components of a strong and healthy family. There's been research done that says that there's 6 major components of a really strong family, and we wanted to talk about that and kind of have a dialogue on what it takes to build a strong family, because the family unit is the basis for our society, and we seem to be struggling a lot of ways nowadays in that area, and so we want to do something to help promote strong, healthy families.
Well, what are your topics today? What are the 6 characters?
Well, the first one is commitment. Strong, healthy families have a strong sense of commitment to each other and to promoting happiness and well-being, promoting the happiness and well-being of the group.
Commitment, that's very interesting as well as very strong.
Mm-hmm.
For one to commit themselves to anything, one has to feel a part of. And I think that when one has a healthy relationship, a healthy family reunion, a family union, they feel a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
They feel as though that, they're an intricate part of, the unit. And so, what do you feel would make people feel a part of a family unit? For each family member to give the amount of commitment for a family structure to be successful.
Well, the thing that comes to mind for me is bonding. I think bonding is really crucial from the beginning. When a child is born, there needs to be a bond between that child and their parent. And a lot of people say, oh, well, that comes natural. But it doesn't have to necessarily. When we're born, we're bonded to that individual that provides us the most safety and tends to our needs. So it doesn't necessarily have to come from our mother or our father. It could be our grandmother, it could be our nanny, it could be the nurse in the hospital. It doesn't have to be parents. So I think in order to begin to establish that strong family unit, everybody in it has to bond.
Well, it's interesting that you brought the other components or other people, like grandparents, and to me, what came to mind is the extended family.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember in my family, we used to have family reunions quite frequent. And when a lot of the elders start dying off, a lot of the family traditions start dying off.
Mm-hmm.
And
mm-hmm.
I think family traditions are very important in keeping the family together, because it gives a sense of, family unity, family purpose. It gives a person something to be a part of, like a team. When you have a team, you go to practice together. You play your games together, and I think that family has to practice, and play the games together.
Mm-hmm.
Practice is, things like we may call them rituals of eating dinner together.
Mm-hmm.
We may, praying together. Different things that should be a part of a group. You know, a lot of times we, in modern days, we allow our children, even ourselves, to be individuals within inside a relationship. Mm-hmm. And when you begin to build a family, you give a part of that individual aspect up, you know.
Right.
And you know, some people may think that, you know, given the part of the individual aspect up, you know, they're missing some things in life, but I think it enhances something in life. Mm-hmm. You know, because now you have a broader self. You have, you know, family members you can go talk to, you know, mm-hmm. people that, you know, you can commune with, mm-hmm. you know, on all different levels. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of times the elders and families become your counselors, mm-hmm. you know, and you have to be able to utilize the resources in your family unit. And also, you know, when we think of family unit, we think of husband, wife, and children. Mm-hmm. But the family unit, you know, again goes to grandparents, you know, cousins, and we need to create more traditions and rituals to have a complete family experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that in some families the practice of the yearly or bi-yearly family reunion is still alive and well, and in other families it seems to be dying off. And that is an important aspect in the building and strengthening of families, because as you were saying, each individual is a part of the greater good, is a part of something that's bigger and stronger and greater than themselves individually. And in that, like you were saying with the grandparents and getting counseling from the elders and stuff, their knowledge, their wealth of knowledge that they have belongs to the younger generation.
Yes.
And when the younger generation recognizes that they are a part of that whole unit, they can go to them and learn from them, and I think it's easier to pass down family values and lessons, important lessons in life, to help protect the younger children from having to go through whatever situations the older generation went through. I think it's also important because it's easier for the older generation to help instill just not only life lessons, but the things that people have learned over the years. You know, a lot is being said nowadays about the current generation of African American youth not understanding or having a good enough appreciation for the civil rights movement and the things that happened during that time to help get a black man in the White House, and all the progress that and all the tears and bloodshed that occurred to help make things like that happen.
Well, you know, I think that having a cultural infrastructure is very important, because mm-hmm. culture is the system where information is passed from one generation to the next. And when you lack a cultural infrastructure, you lack a system that of traditions and values, you know, that people use to build themselves upon. Mm-hmm. And I think culture is very important. When you lack culture, you lack a sense of direction. Mm-hmm. And I think that you know, we have had many cultural elements, you know, coming out of slavery, you know, right. Et cetera, et cetera. However, a lot of those cultural elements we have lost, you know, with, you know, recent phenomena like crack cocaine, you know, where you have had a whole generation of parents wiped out, whereas children had to rely on each other, and children raising children.
And grandparents.
Correct. So the transmitting information from one generation to the next, it was broke up. You know, we can say the '80s era, you know, of drugs in the black community has pretty much devastated a lot of black families. But my question would be, where do we go from here? How do we mend that broken gap? You know, how do we fill in the pieces that are missing?
Well, you know, we're in a position nowadays where we have the capability to reach so many people, and I think it can only be done through education and a value for that education and an appreciation. And so with things like the internet and cable TV and all the different avenues that we have that's computerized, whether it be DVDs or what have you, games, all of that stuff can be utilized to help give the younger people a new appreciation for the past. But it has to be done in a way where we have to reach them, because right now they're not. A lot of them aren't interested.
Yeah, I think that you know, with you know, the music, I don't want to you know, say that rap music is the cause of a lot of immoral behavior being transmitted within our communities. However, I think that when you know, whatever you do, if you sing, if you rap, you know, you should be held accountable for the message that you put out. You know, because a lot of times, you know, we internalize the messages that we get. You know, like say for instance, if we, you know, through the rhythm of our music, you know, it's kind of, you know, a lot of times with me, you know, I listen to, first I listen to the rhythm, and then I listen to the words.
Right.
You know, and if I like the rhythm, I'm going to play that song repeatedly. But if the rhythm, if the lyrics that goes to the rhythm are negative, well then I may be digesting unconsciously the message, the negative message.
Right.
You know, and so we have to be careful of, you know, the information that we digest.
Yeah.
And we also have to be careful of the information that we allow our children to digest. I know in this modern age of technology, it is difficult to monitor all the things that our children digest. However, information is very powerful, and we need to be in control of the information that we digest.
Can you speak a little bit about rappers who have said they're not role models, and that they may call women a bitch, but you know, they're not talking about the important women in their lives, but they use the term bitches and hoes in their music.
Well, I can say that with some rappers who may use the term, right, it's a lot of things that are fashionable, you know, and it's a lot of things that, you know, with trend, you know, people get caught up in doing what sells. And so just as a person may go to work doing a task that they don't really enjoy. You know, they're getting paid for.
Right.
So some things are strictly done through the motivation of finances.
Mm-hmm.
Others are done because of just giving a depiction of their reality. You know, like, if I may use a rapper Too Short, you know, although he may say, you know, call females bitches and hoes, you know, he makes a distinction of what type of female that he would label as such. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think that despite the depictions or the realities that we see, or things that are our reality that we're trying to emulate in music, I think that we need to be responsible for the lyrics that we put out and have some type of elevated, conscious message.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have the negative stuff out there,
Right.
and you know, being a part of our community, African American community or whatnot, I would hope that we all have a sense of responsibility and what we are contributing to our community. Because as we talk about family, you know, and family doesn't necessarily have to be blood. I remember, you know, when I hear older people talking about, you know, when they used to do things wrong, the neighbor used to whoop them, and then they bring them home, and their parents used to whoop them. Well, that was, you know, we call, you know, that was a cultural infrastructure,
Mm-hmm.
where the adults had, you know, a common value system,
Mm-hmm.
and they reinforced each other's morality or principles.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can't depend on our neighbors to reinforce our particular values.
Right.
You know, I say that if you don't have a family as you desire, well, create one.
Mm-hmm.
And your family doesn't necessarily have to be your blood. You know, it's your community.
Mm-hmm.
And so, especially when one is trying to raise children, I think that one should, if there's a couple or if it's a single parent, you should seek out people of like minds. So if your kids is playing with their kids, you know, your values are reinforced, and you know you can trust that your kids are being held accountable for the values that you instill in them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's very important. The next stage or the next component of a healthy family is appreciation, where all the members have an appreciation for each other. And with the appreciation automatically comes respect.
Yes.
And I think that's needed in a lot of our family units today.
I agree. You know, I remember going to church when I was a kid, and my uncle was the pastor, and I remember him saying that everybody has a need to be needed, but many of us go about it in the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all want to be appreciated.
Right.
You know, and to be appreciated gives us a sense of self-worth and value.
Mm-hmm.
And the level of the appreciation that we are shown as a child translate into how we value ourselves as adults.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do agree, and not only how we value ourselves as adults, but how we respect ourselves
Mm-hmm.
as adults.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to be appreciated, you must show appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
To be respected, you must show respect. You know, and a lot of times we think, you know, I know a lot of men, they talk about respect. You know, they want this respect. They demand this respect.
Right.
But are you giving the respect?
Right.
You know, so you can't demand something that you're not willing to give.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that a lot of us demand things that we're not willing to give.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when we can give respect and appreciation